Okay, we are continuing with Alone in the Dark. I was reading through the books off stream. I think we may have been using the statue wrong. I'm thinking that maybe we could use it as a weapon, as that story told us. So I'm thinking that maybe we bring the statue to either the pirate or the giant worm. Or the library spirit even. We might. The priest said that the priest chanted something to make it work, so we might need that special book to make the thing work in the first place. It's probably good to fetch that. We could try using it without the chant at first. Okay. Well, let's go test it in different places. And I noticed off stream that there is a second save slot available. I was worried about that for no reason. Let's try the pirate first. Seems like the door that's behind him leads to the ballroom, but maybe we could get something by defeating him.
In the
Yeah, that didn't do anything. Okay. What about the worm? forgot that the rats are mad at me now.
May he...
Okay. I don't think we did it. Shit. That was all I had. That was kind of all I had planned. I think that the things here didn't like either of the songs. Maybe we should have a look through the books again. I think we could leave the gramophone in there.
Memory. It was during a conversation with G that one first heard one's work on space and comets in particular had met with a warm response.
Editor's note. Lord Boleskin's memoirs end at this point. Who knows? Daemonia particulata.
The ritual of invocation demands that the officiant be pure.
We have already described the complex operations to be followed in order to call those that sleep in superior dimensions. We shall for the sign resembles a blessing, save that the first and little fingers are both folded beneath the thumb, whilst the second and third fingers are held up. It would appear...
I wonder if these books will actually, like, reading them will actually enable a...
antique city of dead, may he...
And that doesn't seem to do anything to me other than do the animation. Do you have any new actions? Up. What is that? Okay. Game crashed. It really didn't like me punching there for some reason. Weird. And to think of any other ways to go. That weird bit on the wall bothers me. -7. I could try shooting towards that painting. Nope. We used an old Indian rug to cover the Native American, or no, the cowboy painting. Now that we actually had access to that before it started shooting at us. How about I didn't miss anything by killing these zombies here? Instead of putting the pot down. How many chairs are there? No, they're not chairs. How could it be that I need to push these to the table? I don't know, they move really weirdly. They don't stop or anything. I feel like the keys are used up when they have their name written out. Leave these here. The basement just has the bullets and the book and the wedge. Did we try the wedge on the library shelf? The bookcase, I can't remember. Pretty sure we searched through all these wine racks. got stuck. We tried shooting at the worm thing. Nothing on the paintings. If we go any further than this door, we'll get killed. Try grabbing the arrows from the statue and see if I can kill the painting with the bow. I could have opened the shortcut, I forgot. I have to look up a hint if that doesn't work, because I have no idea. I was so sure that we would get to move on by using the statue against an enemy. Did it actually chase you out of the room? No. They block your movement, so that feels like it's not the right move. Okay. I have to look up something. The saber is used for something. Oh, the poker is apparently useless. What? No way I would have figured that out. What? How the fuck was I supposed to figure that? A sword. This is just a weapon. Okay, it's a weapon. Okay, the pot of soup is just to avoid the fight, but I managed to kill the zombies. I mean, looks like I got pretty far. Oh shit, I can kill the Native American statue with the bow, I was right. And I do have to trigger the spiders. Well then. Just felt like the spiders make that ballroom inaccessible. And these discs are apparently useless. Oh, you only need one. In case I do need them for something later on. Okay. Sweet. New room. New book. Is this a fake book? Haha. It is. Yeah, so that'll trigger the mechanism in the library. seems sketchy. Don't like that sound. Different kinds of daggers. Holy shit!
Ludwig Prien. De ver nomine invocatoris si non sanctificatus es cave. De vernis mysteriis non absolvo folem legendum fatum et eum versus. Tibi magnum innominandum signa stellarum nigrarum et
Well then. Holy shit. That figures.
Juan Luis Jorge, De Bibliotheca. Reflections on the power of the verb in certain texts. Archaeos Publications, 1919, Stafford.
Translation does not alter the occult power contained within such forbidden texts. The malevolent energy is in no way diminished. The spell must be cast aloud and clearly, in certain languages or little-known dialects. Maglafar Fathang. The reader will understand that, in the light of these revelations, I would be foolhardy to continue quoting from the text I have before me. If spoken aloud in its entirety, it would surely awaken powerful and malignant forces. I will go further and say that simple reading of some of the more technical passages describing specific practices is in itself a perilous exercise. The ill-prepared reader can easily fall prey to attacks of demented hysteria, not unlike those described in cases of individuals said to be possessed by evil spirits. I recommend the study made by Zempf, Urbain, Grandier, and Loudon, and the reports made by the Reverend Richard Price concerning a number of astonishing, to say the least, exorcisms carried out in a parish near Providence. Given what I have written, we must be grateful to the librarians of the British Museum, who have never allowed consultation of the work of Al-Azib's startling work, the infamous Necronomicon. Copies of that work do exist, in spite of the zeal of book-burning inquisitors. For proof, we need look no further than the British Museum, of course, and the sealed archives of the Miskatonic University in Arkham. Other examples of books whose evil can be unleashed by any thoughtless reader are von Jutz's von Unersprechlichen Kulten and the abominable De Vermis Mysteries by Ludwig Prien.
That's the one I read.
Should be a lesson to all those tempted by a study of the occult.
Okay.
The Sacrificial Dagger, Otto Stern, Lumina Books.
The importance placed on ritual sacrifice is constant in religious cult practice. Propitiating the gods is a theme common to many religions. The Old Testament affords many examples. Primitive polytheistic belief systems integrate sacrifice in their rituals as part of the recurrent process of reaffirmation and, naturally enough, group cohesion. The members of their social and religious community come together in an act of purification and atonement. It would be erroneous to imagine the act of human sacrifice linking priest, offering, and God, C.F. Manzetti, Stone Cults, as anything less than a vital focusing of the group's faith. The act also ensures the continuing appeasement of the god, but only if practiced by a recognized officiating priest using the appropriate instrument. Studies made concerning primitive religious groups bear witness to the central role of sacrifice in living ritual. My own work in the field of ethnopsychology brought me into contact with a sorcerer living in the region of Arkham. He introduced me to the rite of steel, linked to a ceremony known as adoring the black goat of the woods with 1,000 youngs. The god being adored is known as the vagabond. Here, the dagger's role, which allows the life breath to pass from one dimension to another, is essential. The vagabond is a frightening figure, being able to move where he wants and to kill those who have displeased the goat god, for whom he acts as a go-between. The goat is clearly a fertility god. The priest, having spoken the invocation, must choose the appropriate dagger for the sacrifice. The knife with a sinusoidal blade that must be dipped 7 times on night when the moon is full in water that has been distilled 100 times will be laid aside, since it would send the vagabond back into his own dimension. See illustration.
Okay. Seven times on nights when the moon is full. Water that has been distilled 100 times. Be right back.
The priest will rather choose the dagger with a curved blade. That is more appropriate for slitting of the lamb's throat. This act transfigures the sorcerer priest and plunges the assembled worshippers into a divine trance. The knife
You can go back and forth.
sinusoidal blade that must be dipped. The priest will The knife with a sinusoidal blade that must be dipped 7 times on night when the moon is full in water that has been distilled 100 times will be laid aside, since it would send the vagabond back into his own dimension. See illustration.
Maybe there's multiple endings.
The priest will rather choose the dagger with a curved blade. That is more appropriate for slitting of the lamb's throat. This act transfigures the sorcerer priest and plunges the assembled worshippers into a divine trance.
Did we get 3 knives? An ordinary looking one. We've only got the one. For sending the vagabond back.
The Book of Yael, Signs of Stone, Eucharistic Rituals of Forbidden Cults. Texts collated by Monsignor Vacher, legate in the Curia of the Vatican.
Numerous devilish cults speak of monstrous creatures called the Old Ones. These supernatural beings are believed to be possessed of powers equivalent to those of the gods of antique religions. Adepts of such cults refer to forbidden literature in order to cause these frightful entities to appear before them. What serious student of folk myths has not come across the names of Cthulhu and Shub-Niggurath? It must be said that these creatures wield tremendous power and are difficult to control once they have been unleashed into the world. Those who serve He who goes in shadows protect themselves with signs of stone, carved into the walls of houses or engraved on various objects. For those misguided servants of evil, the best protection appears to be that afforded by the sign of the most ancient gods, engraved in Manar stone, a heavy material said to be disagreeable to the touch. The sinful practices of those who fall into such errors can only lead to the darkest of despair, and are a mortal danger to the soul. Such monsters as those invoked by these foolhardy individuals are engendered when reason drops its guard. Man is easily tempted into perversion. It is why we must forever remain alert and renounce Satan with each breath we take. His ways are infinite in number.
Okay. So we can probably use that against the pirate. Or the giant worm thingy. I'd imagine we don't use it against this thing, because we'll be in the dark. Worm is the most likely one. Might as well try it on the pirate. It's disagreeable to the touch, so maybe it deals damage to us when we hold it. Maybe we need to read that book for the hand sign as well. I'm curious what the hell this thing is. Oh, wrong way.
Besides,
Oh, here we go. Hmm. Well, that didn't do anything.
Translation does not alter. The reader will understand that, in the light of... I will go further and say that simple reading of some of the more text... I recommend the study made by Zempf. Urbain, given what I have written, we must... Copies of that work do exist in other examples of books whose evil can be unleashed by any thoughtless reader.
I could try stabbing that thing with this, or the pirate. Maybe this is already purified. Well, that ritual, whatever has been done on it. Try it on the pirate. Okay.
numerous devilish cults speak of monstrous creatures called... What serious... It must be said that these creatures wield tremendous power and are difficult for those misguided servants of evil. The sinful practices. It is why we must...
I guess we could try dropping the thing in the library and see if that spirit thingy like suffers from it or whatever. Doesn't seem to do anything to it.
Here.
Anything else in this room? I wonder. Maybe I could place the symbol on that. Nope. Think this way. Or could we... no, we read that book that killed us when we had the talisman in our inventory. Always there. Yeah, when I get close to this bit, it starts making that sound.
The sign resembles a blessing, save that the book numerous the sinful practice. It is what
the importance placed on ritual sacrifice is constant in religious cult. The members of their social and religious... It would be erroneous to imagine the act of human sacrifice linking priest, offering, and God, C.F. Manzetti, stone cults, as any studies make concerning primitive... My own work. Here?
The book on the statue. I could try reading that book from the library with that talisman in hand now as well.
The sons of the sun...
Holy Christ! Cried Cap. As we discovered, this frightful game was a rich. The interior of the temple was surprisingly cool. The weight of our armor, our exhaustion, this massive stone draped. Horror of horrors! The granite eyes of the statue, empty of life only moments before, were now injected with blood. We staggered. Captain Courts. We were unable to move. Our armor seemed to be bolted to the temple floor. Our legs weakened, and we collapsed in a thunder of steel. Only Cortez had the presence of mind to unsheath his. Never will I forget that terrible moment. My companions, naturally enough, told tales of devilish enjoying of Chalchi Huitlique by Dom.
Maybe with a dagger in hand I could use that statue. Yeah, I don't think that's it either. I could try reading the damaging book from the library. Now that I have the talisman. Kind of lost the train of thought when it comes to the puzzles now. Oh yeah, I had it with me. So if I read it now that I have the talisman, what happens?
In May.
Still the same effect. Well, what if we plop the statue down and read it now? I guess we could try the statue on against the worm. We could also try using the bow against the worm. We haven't done that. No. I really liked the game up until this point. Now I feel like I've completely lost the plot. It's pretty common with games of this era. The point and click they did get. I mean, that's very complex, that's why they did call it adventure game logic. Makes for a really annoying experience when you're streaming the game. What about reading in this little spot? Put the sign down. Are they just bad altogether? Oh. We read it and we didn't get damaged. About this.
Domine invoca.
No, that's still death. Okay, so did we actually do something different? Or did I save after reading it already? No. Okay, it was different. That came out completely randomly. I don't know, maybe that makes the worm or the pirate disappear or something.
In the antique city of dead Relia, Cthulhu dreams and waits. Let he who knows how to invoke the stones act. It is time. May he who may not be named cast his withering gaze upon the
Well, let's go see if anything changed. This thing is still out. What about the worm thing and the pirate? Oh, I keep going this way. Damn it. There's a door as well. Oh, let's check out the pirate first. Anything with you? Oh! Am I now able to beat this guy? Not doing matrix flips anymore. Oh! It's when they're about to attack or have finished attacking. Fuck yeah. Sweet. Progress. I got right on the right track completely randomly. This is really fun. Key to the dance hall. Is it just an alternative way to get here then? That's why the pirate was there. What's this? I'm still gonna... Or am I gonna still attract that thing if I touch these? Now these things will still fuck me up. It's just the key to the dance hall, though. Was this just a shortcut fight? Oh yeah. Also, we should be able to apparently stop that. It's a cigarette that's smoking, so... Here, I think it was. Ah, here. This should allow us to stop the smoking. No, this room is now safer. Oh, I guess we could try that wormy. We've got Eldritch power on our side this time. Nope. Or was that it? Looks like there was a lot of stuff just for a shortcut. No, maybe I can like juke it to get the key. Nope. Simone8554, thank you for the follow. Anything in this room that I could search? Now that I don't have the pirate chasing after me. Nope. And that's probably still fatal then. Let's try the bow on the worm thingy. I think it was probably just for the painting. It's got like bigger range or something. I could go back into the cult room. Now that the pirate is defeated. Let's go check that. The room must have some kind of meaning. What was that map that I found last stream? Showed the floor plan. I don't think it showed anything special though. Just showed the floor with the dance room. Shows the garden. Does show that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that. Oh, oof, got stuck for a moment. The 2 discs that I have, the dancers don't like those. I'm pretty sure that I'm not supposed to touch them though. Unless I could plop that down and it would deal with them. Is that the gramophone that's coming through the floor? The dance hall key doesn't even work for this door here. Pretty sure that I've searched everything in this room. Could I close the door in this room now that I have this open? I mean, I already see the side of the door, so it wouldn't matter. I'm pretty sure that this is just the gramophone being shown through the walls. I'd imagine that the close action is here for some reason. I can't close this door though. Yeah, nothing behind them. Reading that pirate just left me with no leads. I don't think there's any other locked doors anywhere. What if we could fall through that hole now that we have the weird Eldritch blessing? Still death. What do we have? Key to the dance hall, which I'm pretty sure is useless now. We have the heavy statue, the talisman, notes, different kinds of daggers, and this is the one that the illustration had. Or did we read this anywhere else? So if we read it anywhere else, it still has that negative effect to it. Could we read it again? Almost certain I'm not supposed to do that. It's just a question of why I would need to open that door. I don't know, maybe when I figure out how to get the mannequins moving, I'll be locked out of the garden door, so I need to have that second door open. That's what I'm thinking. Should I attack this thing now? Oh, hey. So, that was the backup bond, I guess. Well, I have that thing gone now. So I have free access to this place. Is this still gonna be dark? Curious. Yeah, this place will still remains dark. Okay. I can search through all these again. It didn't seem to drop anything. Which one is this?
In those icy and unwelcoming, these people, naturally placid, are seized with rage and horror at the very mention of the prisoners of the ice. Were these... I admit to being impressed by these people, naturally placid, are seized with rage and horror at the very mention of the prisoners of the ice. Were these dreadful captives to be freed from their frozen cells, they would reap a horrifying
I'm assuming that these are just the
human
zombies.
flesh. These blood-curdling beings, I admit to being impressed by these tales, repeated to me on many occasions and in a number of different places during my travels in the region. Here is a...
Which one is this?
After the criminal selling off of Florida by the foul usurper, my father elected to remain in this He was an adventurer of the worst kind, nouveau riche, racked by a mania of persecution. Ilya Pickford constantly fired his workers and hired new ones.
Yeah, here's the map. Doesn't show anything to me that I don't really know. There's this room that's still locked. That's the smoking room entrance, where we fought the pirate, the dance room. There's the garden. That'll lead us to the basement, the pantry, kitchen, cold room, all the way between the area where the zombies were zombies were fought.
When the work was finished, Pickford invited us to the opening of his rambling mansion, which he named Derceto. My father asked... In June of 1862, Derceto was burned down in unexplained circumstances. It was undoubtedly the deed of some... In 1875, the property was eventually bought by a gentleman whose name was Howard. Artwood was fascinated by Pickford and undertook a great deal of research in an attempt to find some treasures that he was convinced the pirate... Artwood set about studying every volume in that library. And Artwood worked incessantly, first from the room I offered him, then from his own freshly restored home, which he rebaptized Derceto. I imagine he hoped to enlist the help of the god of...
Yeah, nothing strikes me as important there. We already have the mechanism triggered. I'm wondering if that creature was always killable. Maybe the ritual didn't do anything. Unless that thing really was the vagabond they talked of. I could go see if that worm was affected by me killing that thing. I could also read the book from here.
The trial of transcribed.
By all the devils! Roared Pregged, glaring at William. The Bloody Izek, they call me. And you think I'll tell you where I hid my treasure? The tribunal. You didn't pay the fraternity its rightful share, and that... Here's the rope twisted by Satan himself. You... That shook One-Eyed William, and no mistake. Dan... It was Pregg's turn to slam his fist on the table. He threw back his head and roared with laughter. It was night, and a bitter wind whipped the New England coast. He told a tale of a time when their luck was down and they were holed up in a Florida swamp. Whether that was true or not, the Astarte began taking loot after juicy. A skull, go to Port Saber, to starboard. Pass over that will, and with death you'll deal. If you cut a rope, cut the right, I hope. Or then, I don't mind, the death you will find.
This could be a clue. Skull go to port. Have we seen any skulls? No, there's one in the occult room. Go to port. Saber. To starboard. Saber was apparently used for something, so this could be the solution. Is both backwards or forwards? Starboard is backwards. Skull is forwards, saber backwards. Pass over that will, and with death you'll deal. If you cut a rope, cut the right, I hope, or then I don't mind. The death you will find. Okay. Let's pick up the saber pieces. Apparently it's fine if you do end up breaking it. Should be in the upstairs area. At least the only skull that I remember seeing is the one in the occult room. Well, let's carry this with us. A skull go to port, saber to starboard. Skull go to port. I mean, that would mean that the saber needs to be placed on the shelf here, right? I guess I could run around and see if there's any other skulls anywhere. This is the only one that I can remember. Did we cut any of these? can't even reach the ropes there. Shouldn't be any skulls here. The only ropes that I can think of are the ones on the paintings. Might need another hint. Okay, I gotta take a closer look at the occult room. I'm pretty sure that's the only skull in this place. I guess I could go to the attic once more. There's still that weird trapdoor that brought the zombie to me, but I don't think we can use that. Unless we can maybe place the heavy statue on it. There's a rope there, but that's... I don't think there's anything. One last look at the occult room before I check out another hint. Unless I can go another way up here. No. Could try cutting the paintings with the sword. Skull call to port, saber to starboard. Pass over that will and with death to your deal. Oh. I placed it on the thing, it looks like. Or did it just land weirdly? I don't know, it looks so intentional. I think it's just on the floor, but it clips through. Yeah. And this is the book that kills you. I'm assuming that it still kills you.
The next day, as you may have guessed, Chuck's body was found with a dagger. Whatever way things happened next, and I don't have a skull. Taking a few trusted companions with him, Prext, he went on to say that the time had come to share out the spoils of our many loots. All at once, I noticed a tall man dressed in black. Prext introduced him to me. "Here is a hearty, mate." The parchment fell to the ground, partly unrolling. I noticed what seemed to be a map of underground tunnels, a veritable maze of caverns. "I'm leaving you only because I've..." Keith spoke to him then. "It is midnight. They are ready, and we must go." The fellow's words froze the marrow in my bones, and it was all I could do to mumble,
Try this again.
Lud Domine invocatoris si non sanct.
Didn't kill us when we didn't finish it.
Domine invocatoris si non.
Wait. It didn't do anything. That killed us last time when we read it, even when we were in the square. Okay, something must have happened. Just making sure.
Domine.
Yeah, it is death when we read it elsewhere. I thought that last time I tried even when I read it in the square.
Domine invocatoris si non sanctificatus es cave. De vernis mysteriis non absolvo folem legendum fatum et eum versus. Tibi magnum innominandum signa stellarum nigrarum et
In the name of the summoner, if you are not sanctified, beware of the mysteries of worms. I do not absolve the fool to read fate and him towards. If you are not sanctified, beware of the mysteries of worms. Does this make us survive the worm? We were able to kill the pirate when we read the red book, so I'm hoping that this will allow us to pass the worm then. That would be pretty sweet. Or maybe this lets us kill the worm. Maybe I could place that block in the cult room. No, I think I walked back accidentally. No. Still kills us even after reading the book. What were the books?
Translation does not. I recommend, given what copies of that work, other examples of books whose evil can be unleashed by any thoughtless reader are von Jutz's von Unersprechlichen Kulten and the abominable De Vermis Mysteries by Ludwig Prien.
Unsprechlichen Kulten. We haven't found that book. This is De Vermis. And this is fragments of the Book of Abdul, so there's one more weird book somewhere that we haven't found.
Nominate.
I'm curious about that wedge. Let's go grab that and return here. It mentions the worm specifically, which is weird. In the name of the summoner, if you are not sanctified, beware of the mysteries of worms. I do not absolve the fool to read Faith and Him towards. Could we read that next to the worm, maybe? Will it have a different effect? And that wedge looks like it would fit in there, where the talisman used to be. What about this door here? Or maybe the... I mean, I don't think the ballroom does anything until we find the right record. That is still fatal. We need to find some new location, I think. We've used up all of the ones we are at. I wonder if we could kill these things now. I think we're good. Okay. If reading the book here doesn't work.
Nominate.
We'll try the wedge. If the wedge doesn't work, I'm gonna look up another hint. It would be really nice to have someone who knows about this game with me so I could take some more organic hints, but unfortunately I'll pretty much have to look up solutions. Remember, I had this big book that had like tips and cheats for like 1001 games or something like that. There was a section on this game, but I can't remember at all what it said. Because I remember that room with the pirate from it, I think. Okay, I think I'll just have to look at the guide again. Oh, I can push at the clock. Yeah, I wouldn't think to push at every single item that I find. Oh, I would use the use action if it would say something. I would normally go for the push. These games tend to expect you to know stuff like this out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure that the clock didn't say anything when I interacted with it. Oh, it does look like it has something behind it, maybe. And a parchment. The bow isn't of use anymore, so we can drop that down apparently. Will that get us into the door at the smoking room?
The Creatures of Night by Hubertus the Bald. Translated from Latin by his brother in prayer, Fratre Johann Marcus.
Of monstrosity. You who read me know that night engenders monsters and that night creatures exist. The accursed book of Abdul al-Azred is clear on this matter. That is not dead which can eternal lie. Unhappy he who knows that book. Unhappy he whose eyes alight upon that foulest of texts. Unhappy he who implores the standing stones, for he will free the powers of darkness. Of the pit. Stagnant waters are like the memory of men. Beneath the surface calm, clawed beasts await and are known to initiates as the Deep Ones. Awaiting his prey, the Deep One seizes him and drags him down to the abyss, where Dagon, the cruel god, swims and reveres him whose name may not be pronounced. Of libraries. Unhappy he who frees the prowler. Unhappy he who meets the prowler erring among the books. He generates the vagabond that comes from other spheres. He believes the vagabond does not exist.
So was that the prowler that was in the library?
He will feel the embrace of death, for in the eyes of the vagabond, books are no more than dreams, stone no more than wind. The vagabond knows how to take the breath of the reckless, of strife. He who speaks does not know, and believes he is able to kill the creatures of the night. Folly. Evil is conjured up by science and secrecy.
He who prowls among books will perish by the blade. He who flies in the dark caverns will scream in fear. He who swims the depths will evaporate.
He who prowls among books will perish by... He who prowls among books will perish by the blade. He who flies in the dark caverns will scream in fear. He who swims in the depths will evaporate. But he who believes he knows, knows nothing. He who knows says nothing.
Well, we killed the one in the library with the dagger like it says, so I guess these are hints for killing future monsters.
Of strife.
He who swims in the depths will evaporate. He who flies in the dark caverns will scream in fear.
Of death. There are domains more terrible than death. That is not dead which can eternal lie. Each creature is conjured up and is not dead, but returns to the origins. A monster, a science. Steel kills the vagabond who never dies. Translator's note. Here ends the manuscript of Hubertus, who died in the library of the convent of Teruel in the year of our Lord 1666. Requiescat in pace.
Rest in peace. Well, let's go to the cigar room. Wrong damn staircase again. Yeah, so there's that German book that we need to find as well. That's it must have a killing effect unless read on that block. Oh. Wait, did I leave the saber blade up? In the cult room. Oh. There we are. Oh. On the record.
The Tale of Captain J.W. Norton of the Army of the Union.
18.
The Tale of Captain J.W. Norton of the Army of the Union.
1862.
What's that little cutoff?
The South was in collapse. Louisiana was open to us. I had each day to requisition victuals for our troops, and was aided in this endeavor by a score of brave men. Rebels were not yet ready to lay down their arms. The region was far from safe. I headed further and further west, and questioned many freed slaves. From them, I learned of a plantation on the coast. Its name was Derceto. We received a less than hearty welcome. Only Pickford, the owner, behaved in a friendly manner. While my men counted cattle and grain reserves, I learned what I could from him. Man was most unusual and possessed an extraordinarily cultured mind. At nightfall, I gave orders for the men to bivouac at Derceto. Pickford invited my second-in-command, Lieutenant Patterson, and myself to dine. We received a less than hearty welcome. Olinded, and our host proved a most entertaining conversationalist. While coffee was being served, Patterson went to inspect the men's camp. The cigar Pickford offered me was so acrid that my head began to spin. I remembered campfire tales of fellow officers trapped by devilish Confederate tricks. My mind floated in a foul and dense fog, from which emerged the enlarged and deformed face of Pickford. He grinned at me.
Yeah, and you don't expect them to do voice acting for, like, books and stuff, even nowadays, which is so amazing.
Patterson's return chased off the nightmare. I heard shouts and firing from outside, and found the strength to take out my revolver. I fired 3 shots. Pickford fell to the floor. Patterson then helped me out of the burning house. The air was filled with smoke. We resembled a company in disorderly retreat. I saw slaves leaping into the flames of that inferno. They were trying to save Pickford's life.
Oh, this is the other side of the story. That sounds cool. And we got another record, so we might be able to deal with the dance room. Let's check this out. Oh, this is certain death. Oh, damn. Yeah, I don't know. Some weird rats. Oh. I'm so dead. Oh, they went the other way. It ate the boulder that was there. God, I hate these things so much. I'm gonna go further, but I'll probably load back since I lost so much health. Ugh. It's this way. Yes. Oh. Oh, fuck is that? The one they mentioned in the book. Okay. I need to figure out what to do before I get in here. This thing attacks way too fast. So we were supposed to evaporate that thing. That's what the book mentioned. I'm assuming that we won't be able to outrun it. Oh? Oh, fuck that. Is it actually killable? Nope, not by that. It does show blood. Oh. I just straight up killed it. Oh, but there's more. What the fuck is that? Weird shit in these caves. It's like a rat spider. I'm going surprisingly far with this. Oh, that's the one that flies in caves. It said that it screams in fear. Maybe I'll eat those biscuits. Okay, let's go check out the dance room first. I'm assuming that I'm still fucked if I touch them. Okay. I have no idea what this key is for. I don't remember anything else that's locked up here. Definitely plop a save in there. Anything upstairs? Well, it's just the library. No, I don't think there's anything locked up here. I think now it is for me to head downstairs. And this key will be useful down there. This seems like a no return point. Unless those things just spawn back. I could go the way it comes from. That was pretty good. Still got plenty of health left. Anything this way? Or is this just the way back to the cellar? I think it is. Okay. Yeah, so that's how we return here. So I assume that we still need to read one more book. Let's not lock ourselves. Can I hit its ass? I need to get it to move again. I can go into that watery area. This looks like something. I wonder what animal they use for the sounds on this thing. Sounds like some kind of moose or something. This body's really weird. The cartridges are wet. the ranges in this game sometimes. Despawned when it hit that stone. This weird rat spider thingy. This era of games can be very cruel about health, so I'm just trying to max out my health in encounters. I think that's good. Okay. So I fall in no matter what I do there. Gave that a slap. Oh, it just leads you to the same place. Maybe I'm missing some action that lets you jump. Oh, can you maybe go underneath that? So my cartridge is still wet. I'm thinking, I don't know, I could maybe shoot this thing. I saw blood. I don't think that accomplished anything though. Ah, there's a new action. Interesting. Whoop. Oh god, I'm surprised that it doesn't just straight up kill you for that. It looks like there's a hole down there. There is. That's gonna be one of those trial by error bits. there's that treasure. Is that the rock that we see when we die? Where does this lead? We're back in a worm cave. Oh, that's a big ass spider. It's just a skip. Or I guess it would be safer if I would make this bit here. Yeah. Okay. So you can either dive in, do that hole, or you can do the chomping puzzle. Oh yeah. My ammo's fucked. I think that might be too low for me to hit it with a revolver. It is. Oh, okay. Can't kill that thing. Oh, it'll probably follow you into the platforming section. So if you drop down and take the water route, maybe you can avoid that. Absolute beat down. I should drop a save in here. Yeah, so I think this way you can avoid the spider. Right. Oh, that was an instant death. Not the cleanest platforming section. Okay. Is this a treasure or an instant death? Oh. A gem. Book. Is this the bad book?
Memoirs of a Lost Soul.
No.
The mask must fall. You who discover this manuscript understand this. I am here at your side. I am waiting in the darkness of my crypt. Soon you will belong to me. One of my slaves wrote this document. I have lived for 3 centuries, and my name is Ezekiel Prext, or Elijah Pickford. You may choose which to call me. I do not hide out of fear. My power is immense. I have sailed the 7 seas. My ship, the Astarte, spread terror through all the continents. The corsairs judged me like the Welsh judges of 1620, but they could not destroy me, and neither could the pirates. Now, I am immobilized. Damned Yankees! Witchcraft, voodoo, and the Cthulhu cult. I know them all. I have reigned and implored the stones. Only the Chthonian haunts the cavern and resists me, but he dare not attack. I have need of a living body to regenerate myself. The Heartwoods managed to escape from me, but you who are reading these words, you will yield to my embrace.
Oh, is this cursed text?
I hear your ragged breath and smell the stench of your fear. I have vanquished death. I built Derceto. I know what it is to wait. Cthulhu helps me. My servants will lay you upon the sacrificial stone. My roar will rend the night. You will be mine, and I shall reign once more. Come to me.
A whole audiobook of this would be pretty awesome. That will definitely spawn something. Oh, unless it's a door. Mechanism. You should have the lighter. Oh, what is this? Waiting for them to fuck with me somehow. That it? Well, definitely safe there. The water thing is still here. What is that? Oh, this is the place we see when we die. Must be something behind that tree. I wonder if I could kite it to fire at the water monster. Oh. Oh, it hit it. Did that deal with it completely though? Got a hook. Well, oh, just took us back here. Ah, must be something more to that place then. We got the hook. Can't think of any other things that would need this. Is there something in that maze that we need to find? I am running low on fuel for the lamp, which worries me. Oh, this bit. Wait. It just took us back here. The only thing that I can think of is maybe entering the spider hole. That bit just takes us back to the first water area. Damn it. Say that the one in the water will like evaporate, so I'm assuming that there's a permanent way to kill this thing. Oh. What is this bit on the right? I wonder if I could kill this thing enough times. Must be something that the hook opens. I could try exploring the maze more. I don't know. We can't go here. Yeah, no, this area is off limits now. Oh, there we are. Just need to do a weird turn on it. Well, we got the hook. We're stuck on this thing. I mean, that they gave us way back here. Feels like that means that they want us to go back. I don't remember any hook doors back at the mansion. Could I place the hook in the cult room, maybe? I'm curious what happens if I try to jump into the spider hole. Doesn't help that this bit is incredibly stiff. Yeah, this is kind of a weird bit. I like to beat this soon. I feel like I have to go eat. Oh? Wait. I don't remember a dark water section. Oh, I think it completely bugged out. Which way is the worm facing? It's not even here. Looks like, at least. Well, let's go try and drop the hook into the cult room. See if that does anything. The last thing that I can imagine doing. Doubt we can do this door. Yeah, I think this is still death. I don't know, the fact that the thing drags us into that crypt in the first place makes me think that we need to do something down here. Nothing this way. Was there another door here? I don't know, I feel like we're done with this maze. I think I might need to look something up. I have no idea where to go. Oh, the room with the tree is the final room. This is supposed to be like the final boss fight. Oh. Oh, okay. Makes more sense. Will this stop this creature from appearing? I thought those were just roots. Killed it. Oh, now it's still appearing. That's telling us to light us the lantern. I'm not sure what this would do. Oh. I'm supposed to throw the lantern at the tree. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to be in the water as well. Yeah, I don't think I would have figured that out on my own. I think I'm dead. Oh shit, I'm so hungry. Okay, so now we light the lantern. Okay. Oh shit. I'm guessing that now we can use the entrance door. If only it wasn't so damn hard to sprint in this game. There's a way through here. There we go. You need to do a really weird turn there. But yeah, with these older adventure games, it would be nice to have someone knowledgeable with you, so they can give you some vague hints at what to do. These games expect you to guess a lot of stuff. Adventure game logic is definitely something that I don't miss. I don't need to go into the spider hole, do I? One thing that is always satisfying about these games, discovering new deaths. There's a really good one, I think it's called Waxworks, that has some insane deaths in it. Oh, the rat's gone as well. I never did find that German book. Maybe it's not an actual thing. I could have used those guns a lot more. I'm just used to survival horror, having you try and preserve ammo for a long time. Is it? Good timing. There we go. That was a cool one to go through. The logic is at times annoying, of course, but I think that's most adventure games of this era. I wonder what the differences of playing the other character are. I do have 2 and 3 as well, so I might play through those. Yes, definitely, I can see how groundbreaking this game was when it came to the technology. Oh, okay, the characters don't have any differences. Oh yeah, there we go. Alone in the Dark. I will see everyone on the next stream.